Hello, fantasy football freaks. Welcome back to the Fantasy Armchair. Welcome back to the fantasy world. I know I've still got the Christmas stuff up, but hey, in my family and on a lot of traditions, it's like we leave it up till New Year's, all right? I ain't gonna talk much about it. I'm not gonna put on Christmas music or nothing like that. But hey, there we go. So welcome everybody. I'm just gonna adjust a couple things here because I got a new camera for Christmas. If you can't tell, everything looks way fucking better. Except there's this weird little flick going on, and I can notice that. I'm gonna try to over time figure out what that's about. But it's obviously pretty high definition. I'm gonna start wearing makeup. Jesus Christ, you see all my fucking pores. Oh. Anyway, you see all the gray hairs in my beard now, right? It's all super high definition and shit. But, it looks better. It looks crisper. It's not all washed out and crap. It's going to look better when I do, green screen shit and stuff like that. So, whatever. It's good stuff. So let me just make a little adjustment here on the audio. Let's see networks. Change microphone. I wonder if that works any better. Hold on, actually, I gotta plug something in. Sorry, guys. This new thing it's crazy. It's good. It works well. It's just I need to fucking plug it in, user error. Hold on. Sorry. Just gotta adjust the damn. Yeah, fuck it. I'm gonna try the other audio. Let me know how this works. Let me know. Sounds good. I'm using the microphone that comes with the camera versus this thing. So let's see if that works any better. I want to. If you think it works well compared to my other shit, let me know. Excuse me. So those of you who are used to my shows, let me know if this works any better or if it's worse. If fuck, use the regular mic, dude. It just sounds like shit. Anyway. So welcome everyone to the post-holiday. Well, it's still holiday season, but we still got the stuff up, like I said. But anyway, we're going to talk about waiver wires for this week. Big week. If you're here, if you're in, you're probably in your championship. Sounds good according to Derek Buck. What's up, Derek? How's it going? Uncle Buck? All right. Love it. Other mic is better, in my opinion, says Matt. So yeah. Hey, if you didn't know, I'm dedicating this show to the memory of Mr. John Madden, the legend himself, everyone's grandpa, right? And it's like if you didn't have much of a grandpa, you could watch John Madden. He'd say grandpa shit all the time. It's fucking hilarious, You got dad jokes, you got grandpa jokes too, and Madden was the guy for that. So love John Madden, always have. So rest in peace, John. This show's for you. I'm gonna use. I wish I had that little ability I could circle shit over here we got a deer with a crazy ass eye. Whenever I don't do a good John Madden. Bear with me on that one. So yeah, I don't have Frank Caliendo here. I apologize for that. But anyway, John, rest in peace, sir. We all love you. We're all gonna miss you, and I dedicate this show to you. All right, in your memory. Here we go. So I got some things going on here. We're gonna okay. What's up? Digging the bass jam, says Matt. Thanks, Matt. Also, John Madden. Damn it, right? I'm gonna get to the actual questions here in just a second. Just gonna do my got some hellos going on here. Mr. Nicholas Stephan, man, I'm just going to say this. I was on a winning streak since I found out about your page in week 6. I got my first loss in the playoffs last week. Of course, that's how it goes, right? You're doing fine in the playoffs hit, and all of a sudden it's all topsy-turvy. This is the fucking craziest year for fantasy football, honestly. Anybody who's this is their first year playing, it's like, Jesus Christ, I'm not playing this shit ever again. It's like, no, don't worry. It's not usually this bad. The COVID shit really fucks stuff up. So, hey, you know what, Nick? Hopefully you're still in any other leagues. But if you're out, if you're playing consolation bracket, hey, boost up your standing, your rating and shit, and get some money if you're in a money league. But anyway, then come back to me next year because I'll be starting back. Well, I'm going to be doing shows every week, at least one show a week every week for the whole year. Just to kind of update things on the NFL, kind of let you know what's going on with the show. Also, I'm going to be doing some things. I'm going to be doing some Madden Let's Plays. Yeah, I'm going to be playing some Madden online, and you're going to watch me fucking curse my fucking controller and throw it across the room or whatever the fuck I'm going to do. It's going to be a lot of fun. Anyway, so we're going to get to the show, like I said, here in just a second. We just got some people showing up here. Okay. Give me a second. Rest in peace, John. Yeah, we're with you on that one. I'm still in and running, says Don Thompson. Don Thompson. I don't know why I said Dom. But not like Dom DeLuise. I'm still in and running. Toughest matchup now for the win. Of course, that's how it always is. It's the battle between the two best teams, or at least the two hottest teams at the time. A lot of first place teams don't make it because they limped their way in first place. They were hot in the beginning and shit. It happens. But you gotta stay hot. You gotta stay on the waivers. That's the thing. There's no more trades anymore, of course, except for there's some leagues that do. Very few. So it's all about the waivers. It's all about playing the waiver wire and playing the best guys. Okay, here's some things. When you're in the playoffs, you don't give a shit about oh, should I drop this guy? It doesn't matter. You got one game left. If you're not gonna play him in that game, you can afford to drop him. Now, if you want to keep him away from the other opponent, don't drop him until like the day before. And if you're like, well, I got to pick someone up now, here's what you do. All right, you drop a kicker. Drop your kicker. Who gives a shit? It's a fucking kicker. It's a goddamn mixed bag. It's a crapshoot with kickers. So what you do is you drop your kicker. I don't give a shit who your kicker is. Drop your kicker, right? Pick up who you want to pick up. Then, someone will go on. They'll be injured, or you decide, oh, I'm not going to play this guy. Drop them on, Saturday, right? Then re-pick up your kicker. There you go. Or pick up another kicker. It doesn't matter because it's a kicker. That's how you do. You use your kicker as another position. You could even do that with defense if you're streaming defenses. Now, if you, of course, you stacked your defenses, but now it's a championship. So you got to keep, one of your defenses, drop the other ones, drop any players that you don't need. Do it on Saturday so that your opponent doesn't play them. Go after the waiver, even if you don't need somebody on the waiver wire, even if you don't need anybody. Because if you're at this point, chances are you've got your team. It's solid. You're not going to need the waiver wire. But if you're in a situation where you're just being streaming QBs or something like that, or whatever, or maybe your opponent's been doing that, and you want to stop them from picking up someone, that's why you play the waiver. That's why we're going to talk about guys that I want to pick up on the waiver. Now, usually I do a top 10, but I'm not doing a top 10. And the reason why is because I was going to do a top 10. I was going to do like my regular show, my regular top 10 stuff. And what happened? I was looking through it and I'm like, there is no one. I was looking at the top 10. I'm like, I have this list right here, right? I'm like making this list and I'm like, yeah, there's a bunch of guys, but really, I'm not picking up and starting pretty much any of them. Now, if I'm in a really deep league, there might be some. We're going to talk about some of them, but there wasn't enough for me to make a top 10 that I could put my stamp of approval on. I'd have to bullshit my way through it, and I bullshit my way through enough stuff. So why do that? But anyway, love from Shelly. What's up? Love to you too. All right. Just a huge shout out for all your help this year. You're awesome, bro. Thank you, Mr. Stafford. And I will help you out next year as well. And like I said to everybody, draft is my specialty. So just you wait. I'm gonna have shows between now and then. I'm going to have my Fantasy 101 series coming out. So if you're newer to fantasy and you want to know some tricks, like I just taught you about the kicker trick, things like that, little things that help, separate the champs from the chumps. And that's what we're here to do. Separate champs from chumps, right? So here's what we're going to do. Put your questions down there in the comments. Put your questions in the chat, wherever you're at, okay? I will answer them, all of them. And, whatever you got. If it's a waiver wire question, if it's, sit start, that's fine too. If you need some strategy as far as, what you should do in the fantasy championships. How to play, guys, how to know how to do certain strategies. I'm going to go over some of my favorite strategies, all right, for winning championships. All right, that's why I do this show. I do this show because I've won lots of championships. Like I said, I've been playing for 15 years. On average, over that 15 years, I have had 5 teams at least per season. And of those 5 teams per season in 15 years, I have only not made the playoffs twice in 2 different teams. That's it. So, I know what I'm doing. My championship percentage rate, is pretty good. Okay, I've won tons of championships. I've won, worldwide championships. I've won championships with like other, big name players. I beat, all of Matthew Berry's crew. So I know what I'm doing, and that's what I'm trying to share here with you. I don't give a shit. If you subscribe or not, I would prefer you to subscribe. I love it. It's great. The more subscribers, the better. But that's not what this is about. What this is about is letting you guys know how to win. All right. So I'm going to help teach you that. Now, real quick, I'm going to let you know that on Saturday morning, I'm going to have my usual benches and bumps show. So it's a normal, pre-recorded show with all the benches and bumps stuff. Then, of course, I'll have my Tinker Sticker Power Hour on Sunday morning. But anyway, this is mainly about waiver wire. This is going to be also about, I'm going to tell you which defenses and kickers I'm streaming this week too. All right. Like I said, put your questions down there, and I'll be getting to those here in just a second. So, if you know anyone that can use this information, let them know. There you go. So this, I've been looking on. Give me a second here. Just putting, yeah. See, Facebook is like being weird and like not letting me comment on shit. It's fucked up. Fuck Facebook. Anyway, so Hashtag TyRant Gang, says Harpreet Singh. I'm in the championship. Thanks for all your help. Hey, thanks for all your viewership. All right. All right. Love you guys. All right. I'm just going to answer a couple questions, and I'm going to get into, some ideas that I have for waiver. Again, if you have specific waiver wire questions, specific whatever questions you got, put them down there, and I'll be answering them. Okay. So best option for my flex: Schultz, Valdez Scantling, Justin Jackson, Barrios, Hunt. I got Eckler. I could play Justin Jackson and Eckler. Oh, interesting. I don't know about that. As long as Eckler's playing, I'm fine with him. Justin Jackson might, sneak in there. Yeah, that's a good question. And in that case, like I'm looking at this, I'm like, yeah, maybe you do play Justin Jackson. Schultz might be a good pickup for that. Barrios is all right, and I'm going to be talking about him in a little bit as a possible pickup this week. But it's hit and miss with him, with Wilson, and I just think when you're in the fantasy championships, there's you want to if you got to make some bold choices, you got to make bold choices. But at the same time, you're going to start your studs. I would definitely be starting Eckler. But you're right. I mean, Justin Jackson could, such a good matchup for them that, that could be something. I'm feeling a little bit. And the thing is, your other choices, let's see, MVS. Yeah, I mean, I'm leaning towards Schultz on that. And I usually don't do that with the tight end. I squeaked there. Like, what the fuck? They sounded like Winona Ryder for a second. Like, I won't even do the whistling thing anymore. I'm trying that. I don't know what happened there. Anyway, so, I would personally go Schultz in that case. But I could definitely see an argument for Justin Jackson. I definitely can. And if you personally feel like that's the better play, go for it. I mean, if you're asking my opinion. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that's, the best thing possible. That's right. They got Denver this week. So it's not necessarily a great matchup for them anyway. For either, but I mean, I still think they're going to get numbers. I think Eckler is definitely going to get numbers. Justin Jackson, it's a little iffy there. I'm going Schultz. And the reason why is just because even with everyone coming back, Dak's still throwing to him. Arizona is played pretty well against tight ends. I'll give you that. But the guy's hot. I got to stick with the hot hand on that. In that case, now playing the matchups is something. Of course, you do that. But when you do that, it's like you're not going to play somebody in a matchup over somebody if they're like, you're playing like a fourth tier guy over a first tier guy or something. I'm not doing that. I'm not that kind of person. Some people do, and once in a while it pays off. But the thing is, in fantasy, we're all about what's most likely not, or what's most likely going to happen, not what could happen. Yeah, some things could happen. Some people could get lucky, and that could happen, and you could stick with the best possible lineup and benefit. By the way, MVS is on the COVID protocol. I don't know if he's coming back or not, but he was just placed on it. Was that earlier today, actually? So I'm pretty sure, likely he's going to be out. So, I'm going Schultz on that. Good question, though. Don, all I can think of for choices to make is defense this week. Cowboys finally helping me. But considering Miami, I completely understand where you're coming from on that. And I'm going to get to that a little bit later. I've got my streaming defenses section I'm going to be doing here in a little bit. Start one, Lockett, Smith, or Mr. St. Brown. And this is where you got to make bold choices because, conventional wisdom says you're going to start Lockett. And maybe you are, but there are, it's hard to ignore the other choices there. Because, Devontae Smith, it's been kind of hit and miss with him. I'm going to look at something here. Give me a second. Hold on. Sorry, my computer's being weird. Okay, so, yeah, Devontae Smith, going up against Washington, giving up the third most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. But the problem is that his production has been so volatile. He had 3 straight games with 7 points or under, and that's in PPR. It's hard to trust him. He had a good game last week against the Giants, and but then 2 weeks ago against Washington at home, he only had 7 fantasy points. So I'm thinking, maybe he's not. I don't trust him for my championship game. It's too risky. You want to minimize risk and maximize reward. I know that's like an obvious, like, well, duh, no shit. Of course, that's what we want to do. Hey, but it's. I feel like it's a better option to go with Lockett over Smith. Now against St. Brown. Let me take a look here. He's got Seattle, so you're looking at him versus Lockett, either side of the ball. I think that I don't know. St. Brown's been on a kick lately, hasn't he? And I've been talking about him. I've been telling you to pick him up off the waivers. He's at this point he is 69% owned. So chances are he's not going to be on your waiver. But let me take a look here. So Seattle has given up the 10th fewest fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. Now they let Cooper Kupp go off, but who's not? Other than him, they haven't had a 20-plus point fantasy receiver since Robert Woods in Week 5. All right, so they're not giving up a lot to the position, other than of course Cooper Kupp, and just in general to the Rams. But Seattle sucks against the Rams. The Rams kind of own Seattle's ass. But anyway, so I'd be a little bit concerned about that. I'm going to slightly lean toward Lockett this week. Just because Wilson has had, I don't know what the problem is. He's had a problem, with DK. DK's been doing okay. But I just feel like with Lockett in there, as long as he's playing, this past game, it wasn't so great. Against Chicago, really, though, you're relying on the run. You're relying on other things. It's a defensive game. With Detroit, it's not that great of a matchup. But I just feel like Lockett's connection, whatever that, whatever you want to call it, with Wilson has been all right this season. It hasn't gone away. His connection with DK is fizzling out. I don't know what's going on there. So it's kind of like Lockett, and then Lockett's been the 1A, whereas last season it was flipped. So I can't sit him. I gotta go Lockett on this one. It's a slight nod, and I was kind of talking it out of my brain, but I gotta go Lockett on this one. It's a really good question. If your gut says one of those other guys, and if you do, go with St. Brown. But yeah, I slight lean toward Lockett. If your gut says St. Brown, go with St. Brown. It's like 51-49. All right, good question there. Good question. Then Don's got I give up on the Cordell versus Johnson dilemma. I think I'll ride Waddle and flex. Fuck it, go for it. It's not a bad idea. I mean, if you want to know what I'm thinking, because they're always doing the opposite of what makes sense, right? Yeah, jeez. Yeah, and the thing about Cordero Patterson is that, I mean, he's had one 20-plus point game since week 4. He hasn't been the guy that he was earlier in the season. And he's and let's see, in the last 3 weeks or 4 weeks, we're looking at 12.6, 13.9, 4.3, and 8.3. It's hard to start that in your fantasy championship, isn't it, Don? I totally hear you. Johnson is a little more solid, I think. Johnson is a little bit better of play overall. However, this week, going up against Cleveland, they're giving up the 12 fewest fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. He's been pretty solid. Like he had a middling game, like a not very good game a couple weeks ago. Otherwise, he's good for like pretty much 15 points every game. So I actually do like Johnson. Now, Johnson versus Waddle, I think, is the real question here. And Waddle has been the guy for Tua, hasn't he? Yeah. I mean, against the New Orleans defense, he had 25.2 fantasy points. Dude was targeted 12. Guy's been targeted like over 10 times for most games this year. He's been targeted at least 10 times in the last 3 weeks. 12 targets this past week, 10 catches for 92 yards and a touchdown. Dude, Waddle's on fire. Waddle's been on fire this season. No reason to sit him at all against Tennessee, who let me just bring it up there. Oh, shit, I had that for a second. Anyway, they might be giving up, if I saw that correctly, they're giving up like the fewest fantasy points, or the most fantasy points, excuse me, to opposing wide receivers. Let me double check that, actually. Second most, sorry. So they're giving up the second most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. Yeah, I mean, Waddle, I really think that's a good play. Yeah, I'd go Waddle over Johnson. Barely, but I'd do it. Both of them are solid. But Waddle's got the higher upside. Waddle's a better player. Go with it. All right, JC for CT is penning good start this week. I've never been about the Seattle Seahawks running backs. I know that Rashad Penny has talent, and I was on him like when he first came in the league. I was like, dude, this guy's gonna be good. This guy could be the guy. But it's hard to tell with him. Do I start him against Detroit this week? Yeah, I think so. I think it's a good start. I mean, it depends on who else you have. But in a vacuum, yeah, I think it's a good start. Detroit's given up the 7th most fantasy points to opposing running backs. He's been playing well. He's kind of predictable, like against teams when he should. So he's had good games and bad games, but they're usually predictable. And he's at home against Detroit. He's been playing better at home. He's got let's see, he got the Rams. He only had 6.4 fantasy points at LA. At SoFi against the Rams. Yeah, you're not going to play well in that situation. But other than that, over the past the other 2 weeks, in the past 3 weeks, at Houston, 26.8 fantasy points. At Chicago, or at home against Chicago, 19.5. So yeah, I really do like Penny this week in your championship game. There's always weird people that you're going to start at the end of the year. It's always like I've had weird fucking shit like Tannehill a couple years ago won me a fantasy championship. Rashad Perriman, and I'll be talking about him later. He's a guy that always ends up there at the end of the season. So yeah, you do have to make bold moves like this. I think Penny's a good start. Thanks, JC. Alejandro Meza, what's up, man? Hashtag TyRant King. Championship round. Rams D against Ravens, or Panthers D versus the Saints. Hey, that's a good one. That's a good one too. Rams D, they've been real up and down this season, haven't they? So it's hard to tell with them. They're playing. I mean, obviously from an NFL standpoint, they've been great. They've been great. From a fantasy standpoint, it's been up and down. Now Baltimore's given up a lot to defenses, and we don't know if it's going to be Johnson playing, if it's going to be Huntley, or if Lamar might come back. We don't know yet. It's a mixed bag. If you got to go with somebody right now, I see why you go with the Rams there. However, against the Ravens, but let me check Carolina. I want to see something real quick. So Carolina, against New Orleans, obviously, division game. New Orleans is kind of middling against defenses. Earlier in the season, I might have said Carolina, but right now with the way things are playing out for them, yeah, I like Rams D in your championship game against Baltimore with the QB situation unknown. I do. I like it. All right. Is Eli Mitchell coming back? Asked Matt. Dropping Wilson. No, I don't think so. I mean, it's not definitive. We don't know yet, but I don't think so. I don't think he's coming back. I think that if the Niners, and I think the Niners are making it to the playoffs, but they might be saving Mitchell up for that, which is smart. I mean, Wilson's been all right. It took him a couple games to get his legs back under him, but he's been all right. So yeah, I'm not dropping Wilson. Although, it depends if you're using. Again, if you're in like your championship game or a consolation bracket game, this is your last week. If you need to drop them for someone, drop them for someone, because you might not be starting them depending on what your team looks like. And Matt, knowing your team, chances are you're not starting Wilson. So if you need to drop him, drop him. Kicker's question: Gould against Texans or Crosby against Vikings? Crosby's been fucked up the second half of this year. I don't know what's going on with him. Maybe he's got some sort of lingering injury or something. I don't know. But he's been inaccurate. Plus, the Packers are not kicking a lot of field goals. They've been scoring a lot of touchdowns. They've been in a lot of shootouts. Okay, so I don't know about Crosby against the Vikings, because I feel like Kirk Cousins can light it up, and if he lights it up, the Packers, it's going to go back and forth. It's going to be a hell of a game. I'm actually really looking forward to this game. It's going to be a lot of fun. But what that means is you're looking at a lot of touchdowns and less field goals. I like Gould against the Texans. I think that the Niners are smelling blood after they fucking barely got beat out by the Titans last week. They are going to have extra time to rest. They're rested up. They're ready to go. I think the Texans are going to get torn to shreds. I don't give a shit about people. They surprise you. I ain't gonna surprise the Niners. The Niners see them coming, okay, and they're gonna fucking take care of them. So after a while, it's gonna be all right. Let's grind it down. Let's grind it down. We don't need to score touchdowns. Here we go. Yeah, let's just give Robbie Gould some work. We don't need to be going for the fourth down. We've already got the lead. Okay, so I think that just to maintain lead and things like that, they're gonna be kicking. I like Robbie Gould this week. He's actually one of my streamers this week. So good question there, Mr. Mesa. And one more question, then I'm gonna get to to my thoughts on some streamers as well as my waiver wire picks for this week. So let me get some water. My throat's all fucked up. Harpreet Singh, sit through these guys. Rojo, Java Williams, Harris, Darrell Williams, Singletary. Yeah, you know what? I'm starting Rojo for one. Because sure, Vaughn got a little bit of work, but I think that which is one big touchdown run makes his name seem a hell of a lot better than it really was, if you think about it, as far as carries go. Bruce Arians said Ronald Jones is a guy. I wasn't quite sure. I was like, I want to see it for a week. I actually picked up Ronald Jones and sat him in a couple leagues, in a lot of leagues actually. So I wasn't 100% convinced. But I think that against Carolina, and that was the other part, was that against Carolina, who's good against running backs, I thought it was a bad matchup. I wasn't all about him, but he did fine against Carolina. And this week he's got the Jets, who fucking give it up the most to fantasy running backs this season. They're fucking running back holes. They take it up the ass. You know, like you wouldn't believe. I fucking dude, the Jets just get fucking torn apart by running backs, by any running back. It doesn't matter who it is. Like they're the fucking. It's like that girl in school. Like, it's dude. And you go on a date with her, you're gonna get laid. You know, same thing. Put in a running back against the Jets, and you're gonna be good. Duke Johnson. They made Duke Johnson look like David Johnson in his first few years. That's actually really bad comparison. No, actually, David Johnson was great in his first few years. Right? Anyway, yeah, no, I actually I like Rojo this week. As far as who who else you're starting? Najee Harris, right? It's been weird. It's hard. He hit his rookie wall, and that was that. I mean, they talk about the rookie wall. It doesn't get everyone. It's very clear that it did get Najee Harris. It's too bad, dude. That guy's. I think he's gonna be fine. And it's now. That doesn't mean to say that he's bad against Kansas City. He still got 16 fantasy points. He still had 25 fantasy points a few weeks ago, but he had dropped off a bit. Still, though, against Cleveland, 10 fewest fantasy points against running backs. I'm worried about that matchup. However, comparing him to who else you got there, Java Williams. I'm starting. Let's see. Well, yeah, I'm starting Java. Against the Chargers. They're giving up the fifth most fantasy points to running backs, and Java's still, he's still been solid. I can't sit him. Now Darrell Williams is interesting because we don't know what's going on with CH. We also know that Gore's been, poking his nose in there too, right? Dude had 12 carries last week. Derek Gore did. Okay. Williams, real quick, I want to make sure I'm right about this. I'm just say a bunch of bullshit. Williams had 11 carries, so he's splitting carries. I'm a little worried against Cincinnati. They are giving it the 15th or the 14th most fantasy points to running backs, but I feel like there's going to be a lot more scoring than that. But that doesn't mean I'm sitting them. I'm sitting Singletary, I know that much. So really, for me, it comes down to between Darrell Williams and Java Williams. Williams versus Williams, because you're starting Rojo, you're starting Harris, you're sitting Singletary. So Javante versus Darrell Williams, and it's a tough one. I'm gonna give you the slight. Oh shit. I honestly think that's like almost 50-50 right there. So go with your gut. Whichever Williams you like better, go with them. I'm going to give the slight lean toward Java just because Kansas City Chiefs running game isn't always predictable. Okay? Slight lean toward Java on that, but go with your gut, essentially. All right? So, I'm going to be answering a couple more questions here in just a moment, right? Real quick, I want to go over my waiver wire picks this week, or I go over some guys that people are talking about waiver wire, what I think about it. All right, and then I'm also going to give you my defensive and kicking streamers. Okay, we're going to go over some strategies and things like that. Just kind of a lot as we go along. So, but it's not going to be. There's not too much to go over. Let's talk about kickers real quick. Let's get that out of the way. All right, like I said, I like Robbie Gould this week. I like Michael Badgley this week for the Colts. That's a guy who I want to look at his percentage because he's I think he's like 20-something%. Let me take a look. It's 27% owned. He's going against the Vegas Raiders, who are giving up the sixth most fantasy points. And they get those kind of rankings don't really matter so much. It's what the kicker's been doing. And lately, Michael Badgley's been pretty good. He's had, in the past 6 games, he's had 3 games that are 10 points or more. He has had no less than 7 fantasy points in any given game this year, playing for the Colts, since week 6. So, he's been solid. He's a solid kicker. He's got a good matchup this week. I like Michael Badgley. So there you go. He's likely he's on
waiver wire, 73%. I wouldn't use a waiver wire pick on him. I don't do that for kickers, but you do what you got to do. What are you gonna waste on it? You can't take it with you, right? So if you have nothing else to pick up and you got to pick up a kicker, I see why you do it. I like him. I like Gold, like I said. I told you why earlier. Because against Houston, they're going to get up enough to where they're not going to need to bomb it so much or take as many risks, which will probably lead to them kicking more. So anyway, the Niners, with Gold, yeah. Evan McPherson's another one. I think against Kansas City, he's a good pickup. Another guy I like is Brandon McManus against the Chargers. I like him. He's been hit and miss. You'd think that he'd be better because he's kicking in Denver in the Mile High, that whole business. But actually, he's been better on the road, believe it or not. Yeah. And he is on the road against the Chargers this week, so not a bad play. So those are some kickers I like this week. If you have any specific questions about specific kickers, of course, let me know. We'll be answering those in a second. Now, let's go over defenses, too. All right, some defenses I like streaming this week. Now, I'm going to talk about defenses that are right around 60 or so percent owned or less. I'm not going to remember, hey, I like Tampa Bay this week, even though there's only 3% of you that don't have. It's like, fuck, of course you're going to start Tampa Bay. Hopefully, if you did what I suggested a couple weeks ago, is stock up on your defenses for the next few weeks, because we got some good ones going. The Giants and Chicago, you could own either one. Of course, I like Chicago. I think Chicago against the Giants, with Glennon or Fromm playing, either way, I like Chicago. It's got a surprisingly good defense. They always score points. You never know why, but they score fantasy points. So let's see what else we got here. New Orleans. I think New Orleans is a good pickup against Carolina. Cam Newton's been now they're using a platoon at quarterback between Cam Newton and Sam Darnold. Oh wow, yeah, that really has my fucking nuts. Yeah, that's got me fucking a rock hard to watch that shit. Jesus Christ, you kidding me? Yeah, oh yeah, I'm running to the waiver wire to pick one of those guys up. Yeah, it really pumps my nads, the whole idea of wanting to start one of those fuckers. Jesus. No, not happening. New Orleans, good pickup on defense if you can get them this week. Philadelphia, if you can, yeah, whatever. Against Washington, Someone I was asking earlier about Miami. Against Tennessee, I don't like it so much. I think there's better options. If you have New England, go New England. Let's see. I'm going to go back real quick to that question because, that was a good question. I had said I'd answer it later, and here we are later. We have made it to later, right? Yeah, Don, there you go. Thinking about Cowboys. Thinking about Miami. I don't like Miami so much, I think that the Cowboys, let's see. Let me look at something here. Yeah, they're going up against Arizona. I am worried about that. If you can stream one of these other guys, I would do it. If you can stream one of them, if you can stream New Orleans or Chicago, Chargers, another good one. Seattle against Detroit, that's another really good one. So those are some defenses I would stream, and I would do those. I don't know, man. It's hard to sit the Cowboys, right? But shit, Arizona. I don't know. I'm a little bit scared of that one. I gotta admit, you gotta make bold ass plays in the playoffs. So it depends on what you can get done. Let me know who's available. Hit me up on Facebook chat. Let me know who's available on your waiver wire. I'll let you know if you should pick one of them up and start them. I would go Cowboys over Dolphins this week, though. So anyway, for what it's worth. So let's talk about a few waiver wire picks this week that I like. I've got some information here that I wrote down. Let's talk about some running backs first. Rex Burkhead, career night, 149 scrimmage yards and 24 touches. He got 28.9 fantasy points. I think he was like number 2 running back last week, right? Yeah. Now that's the second most fantasy points in his fucking career. It was a career game, all right? and it's we love it. However, he's going to be going up against the Niners. Their defense pretty damn good. He's going to get some passes out of the backfield. I kind of like Rex Burkhead this week. I mean, in general, I think he's a good pickup. It just depends on what you have. Depends on what you. That's why I didn't want to make a top 10 because it all depends. So let me talk about some other things here. So Rex Burkhead I do like, and I'm going to get to some questions about that here in a minute. In fact, actually, let me go back to that because I think there was an actual question that was very specific. Let's see, Rex Burkhead questions. Scooby doo 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 doo. I swear there was one on here. Maybe I'm wrong. No, there was one. Who had the Rex Burkhead question? Let's find it. It's here. I know it's here. The sexy Rexy question. I think it was like one of the first. There you go. Uncle Buck, thoughts on Burkhead for the next week against the Niners. I think he's fine in general, and I think you're going to want to pick him up. But against the 49ers, it's a tough start. It's a tough start. Again, it depends on who else you have. But chances are I'm not starting him against the Niners. That's it. So, yeah. Now, another guy, but do pick him up because that it prevents your opponent from getting him. Miles Sanders exited the game against the Giants and was ruled out with a hand injury. And Jordan Howard played 35% of the snaps with 9 carries for 37 yards. And you've seen 4 targets, second most on the Eagles. Caught 2 of them for 19 yards. Problem is, he might be out too. So what do we do? Because Miles Sanders is going to be out. Howard might be out. Let me double check the Howard situation because he was coming up questionable. But he said that they're hopeful Howard is going to be out. He has the stinger, the dreadful stinger that and chances are Howard could play through that injury. Keep an eye on it. I like Howard over Boston Scott. If Howard's out, Boston Scott becomes a good pickup. So keep an eye on it. For right now, I would get Howard. So there you go. That's my thoughts there. I'm not really going to start any other Jags running backs other than James Robinson. And if James Robinson's out, and he is going to be out, it's going to be Dare Ogunbowale. But I'm not trusting that. Not in the playoffs. Not against the Patriots. So don't bother. Keyshawn Vaughn, like I said, he played 36% of the snaps, saw 7 carries for 70 yards. All it was basically the 155-yard touchdown. That's it. It's hit and miss, and I'm not trusting that in the playoffs either. So don't worry about it. Isaiah McKenzie was targeted 12 times, second most on the Bills, with Cole Beasley and Gabe Davis right now. If they're both out again, I think Cole Beasley will likely be because he's unvaccinated, so chances are he's going to be out. Gabe Davis, we don't know. If Gabe Davis is back in, I pull off on McKenzie. Otherwise, I do like Isaiah McKenzie. I thought it was going to be a Sanders game. Turns out he likes McKenzie, and that's been a thing. It's been a trend lately. McKenzie's been trending up. You can't ignore trends, especially this time of year. You can't. And against Atlanta, who's given up the 4th most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers, I like it. I do. He's trending up. I love it. Isaiah McKenzie. Now that is again only if both Gabe Davis and Sanders and Beasley are out. And I think Beasley's out. Excuse me. I think he's pretty much ruled out because he's unvaccinated. So I think that Gabe Davis is a threat to that. If he comes back, cut him. Otherwise, pick up McKenzie if you have room, just in case. I think that he's got a good matchup. He's going to be the number 2 guy there to Diggs, and I think that Atlanta will be giving Diggs enough attention to where you're going to want to put McKenzie in there if he indeed will be the number 2 wide receiver. So there you go. That's my thoughts there. And then Kadarius Toney came back. I can't trust it. His floor is too low. He's got a high ceiling, but floor is too low. And you got to be in a pretty damn deep league in a desperate situation. Chances are, if you are in the fantasy championship in deep league or not, you're probably not that desperate. So so I'm not worried about it. Josh Palmer saw 6 targets this past week, catching 5 of them for 43 yards and a touchdown. I think that even in a matchup where he's being featured, in a game where he's being featured, he's still touchdown dependent. So I'm not worried about it. Mike Williams is, COVID list. He could come back. Look for that. So anyway, I think that I'm not jumping on him. We'll put it that way. Robbie Anderson, another guy you can pick up. Saw 10 targets with the Panthers last week. He faces the Saints who've been giving it up, the receivers. If you're in a deep league, like a super deep league, and you needed that option, like if you're like one of those really deep leagues where you got like tons of players to play, you got like 3 or 4 flexes, he might be one of those last flexes on the end there. I think he's going to be a good, good for like 10 to 15 fantasy points. Your last flex spot if you have a lot of them. So worth looking at. Zay Jones, got some interesting things I want to look at here with Zay Jones. Let's see if I can find my little notes here. Give me just a second. So I was thinking about Zay Jones. There was something interesting that I was reading about him. So give me just a second. I'll bring that up. So here we go. So Zay Jones has had 24 targets over the past 3 games. Yeah, that's 8 per game, right? Do the math. So there you go. That's not a bad pickup. Now, I know, trying to figure out which Raiders wide receiver, to start. It's like trying to date a stripper. It's like, what's the point? If you pull it off, what good is it really? I mean, fuck, is it really worth the headache? If you happen to get it, if you happen to do it right, is it worth the headache? No, it ain't. It ain't, because most of the time you're going to get fucked, and not in the right way. So, anyway, let's talk about some other people. KJ Osborne, he scored at least 14 fantasy points in the past 6 out of 7 games. With or without Thielen in there, he's been good. Thielen's been banged up. Thielen hurt himself again this past week. He came back in, hurt himself again, got tackled by the ankle. He was pissed. You saw the footage, dude. He was like, "Oh shit, pissed." Dude, he was not in a good way. All right, I like KJ Osborne. I like the kid. I've actually been on him since preseason. I was talking about him in the preseason. I said, hey, if either Justin Jefferson or Thielen were to go out, Osborne could be the guy. Osborne could be a fantasy asset. And here we are. We're in the fantasy championship league, and well, look at this. So KJ Osborne, as long as Thielen's out, he's a good pickup. All right, so let's talk about some other guys here. Let's see who else I got. Going through, we got several notes here. I'm trying to stay away from using so much paper. Whatever. So let's see who else. Oh yeah, Alan Lazard. If you feel like it, I'm not really trusting any wide receivers on the Packers outside of of course Devontae Adams. I'm just not. Who knows? Rashad Perriman is interesting. Okay, going up against the Jets, it's a soft matchup. All right, he was activated off the COVID-19 list, so he's back in there. I think he could be a wide receiver too for the Bucs. I mean, not in general. He's going to be playing opposite Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown's going to be getting a lot of attention. I think that Rashad Perriman is sneaky. If you're in a 16-team league and you got that last flex spot, Perriman could be sneaky. Pick him up. He's also a good DFS player, I'm telling you. All right, so that's it for wide receivers. Let's talk about some quarterbacks I like. With the news about Jimmy G's thumb up his ass. Yeah, he broke his thumb because he tried to get it out of his ass. His ass is too damn tight. No, I'm just fucking with you. No, he fucking hurt his thumb. Trey Lance may be starting this week. If that's the case against Houston, I ain't worried about that. I think he can throw. I think he can run. I think he can get you some fantasy points. You're looking at 20 to 25 fantasy points right there. Very sneaky. You want to start Trey Lance? If you're in a 2-quarterback league, pick him up. Start him. If you're not, chances are you got a quarterback you like. And I'm not starting him over any of those guys. But if you're in a 2-quarterback league, or you're in a 16-team league and you've been streaming QBs, Trey Lance is interesting. I don't know about Josh Johnson. It's just too much of a risk against the Rams. Davis Mills, He's been playing all right lately. Don't like it against San Francisco. Not on top of him as far as that goes. Now, here's something interesting. Look out. Now, I want to see how Taysom Hill's doing. Now, he was on the COVID-19 list, but I think I want to make sure. Yeah, he was out, but this week he might be back in, and if he is, I'm all right with him. There was probably better options though. So anyway, not much going on with the QBs this week. I think it's Trey Lance, and now if Huntley plays, I like Huntley. Not so much on Johnson. Justin Fields is interesting though. Yeah, I'd be fine with streaming him against the Giants. Giants defense has not been all that great. Guy can get you points on the ground, to the air. He's got everyone coming back healthy. He's been looking all right. I think he's going to be better than Tua this week. So there you go. Another deep league guy, another 2 quarterback guy, I think. So, if you need them, get him. A couple of tight ends I like. I actually like Gerald Everett, who's available. Let me double check his availability. I think he's available in less than 50% of fantasy leagues, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 43% going up against Detroit. Detroit is bottom 10 against the tight ends. I like Gerald Everett. I like his he's had the last 3 games of over 10. He's had over 10 fantasy points in the last 3 games. He's had over 10 fantasy points in 5 of the last 7. Okay. That's consistency, folks. That's consistency. And you want that at a tight end. 10 points or more at a tight end, you're going to be okay with that. If you're hurting at tight end, you don't know what to do. Everett's got a good matchup. He's got a good rapport right now with, Wilson. I like it. Everett's a good pickup this week. I also like Cole Kmet on the other side, against the Giants. I like Cole Kmet, and it's not like it's a middling matchup. But the thing is, like, he's been getting targets, at least 5 targets over the past 5 games. He's had a couple good ones, 11, 7, and 9. So he's getting targets. He's I think that he's going to be the number 2 to Mooney as far as that goes. So if you're really deep, you're desperate, Cole Kmet could be sneaky. All right. Not too much else on the tight ends that I really like. Foster Moreau, I'm not trusting. Ricky Seals-Jones, if he's there, get him. Conklin, if he's there, get him. But chances are you've got better options. And of all those guys, I like Everett the best. Definitely. All right, so there you go. There's some waiver wires. There's some streamers. All right, I'm going to answer some more questions, and then I'm going to get the fuck out of here. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining me this week. So I've got questions. If you have questions about specific players, go ahead and put them down there below. Put them in the chat or put them in the comments. All right. So let me go back up here. We're gonna get through as much of these. We're gonna get through all of them. But let's see what do we got. What do we got here? I don't know why I sound like Popeye. Anyway, what's going on? All right. Let's see who's the guy to get on waivers? Howard Scott. I think I kind of answered that. I think it's Jordan Howard. Jordan Howard. Obviously, if he ends up not playing for whatever reason, you go with Scott. But sounds like he's trending toward playing. So I like Howard. I feel like that's insane. If I had a time machine and I went back in time, and oh wait, it went into some different shit all of a sudden. There we go. So anyway, sorry. If I were to go back in time and tell myself, hey, you're gonna be telling people to pick up and start Jordan Howard in championship week, I'd be like, give up the business now. Go back to fucking doing Uber and Lyft and get your ass out of there, you dumbass. No, seriously though, it's crazy. That's where we're at. Jordan Howard. Big cash. ASRB this week. Or ARSB. ARSB this week. Thielen, Higgins. If Thielen plays, you're playing Thielen. Although Higgins is the top guy. Higgins over all of them. I don't care about the matchup. I don't give a shit. I like Higgins. Higgins showed me last week he's a stud. He's still a stud. I said at the beginning of the season, I don't care if Chase ends up being the guy. Higgins is still a stud. They're one of the best 1-2 punches. In fact, I'd say him, Higgins, and Boyd might be one of the best, if not the best trio. All right, you've heard of the three Ramigos. You've heard of the three Caballeros. All right, I don't know what I can do for Bengals. I'll come up with something at some point, but the three Bengal tears. Now that's stupid. I'll come up with something. If you think of something clever, put it down there in the comments. It helps me out, you know. I'll think of something for the Bengals 3. You know. Anyway. Smiley face there. Harpreet Singh, thank you. Thank you for the good vibes. Bullshit there. Big Cass, Carter, MG3. You know, I like what Gordon's been doing. I like even with Java playing more and getting more attention, I do like it. And with Carter going up against Tampa Bay this week, against Jacksonville, he kind of still had a middling game. Excuse me. I just think that with Zach Wilson at the helm, that actually hurts Michael Carter. I think that holds him back a bit. It does. You know, I don't like the matchup so much against Tampa Bay. Like I said, you know, we all know they play really good against running backs. Melvin Gordon this week has the Chargers, who are bottom 5 against running backs. I'm going Mel Gordon, all right? I like Mel Gordon this week. Thank you for the question. No more bullshit. Sorry. I don't know why there's these bots on here that are telling me shit. I'm trying to like block them, and it's like, I'm getting a lot of crap. Anyway, put them in timeout. It says I don't do that. Thanks, says Mr. Singh. Hey, you're welcome. Gods against men, Bears or Philly D? Hey, that's a good question. I like the Bears. I like the Bears, just barely. Stupid dad humor, but I know. Daddy-O's here. Rich in your bar. What's up, Daddy-O? Yeah, hope you had a happy holiday there. Chargers are not a good defense. Total letdown. Hey, no, they're not. And even in a good matchup, they didn't pull it off. Now, they've had some good matchups where they have pulled it off. So I thought, maybe they'll do it. Sorry. Hey, I was wrong about that one. Chargers were not great this week. But I think that my defensive picks this week are a lot better. Okay? So pay attention to those. Rewind if you have to. But I think I have some good pickups for you. Hit me up on Facebook otherwise. Tua Lance Fields Hill says Facebook user randomly, whoever the fuck you are. Tua Lance Fields Hill. How many? Oh, wait. I'm going to guess that. See, that's what I was fine until you said, Taysom Hill. I don't know why that threw me off. Between those 4. Lance starts. You know, that's a tough one. If Lance starts, I like Lance. I like Hill. That's a solid bet. That's a really tough question. If you're choosing between those people, how the hell did you make it to the championships? Goddamn. Oh man, it's hard to trust Lance. I mean that's your risk reward. If you need a big play, go with Lance. If you just need to hold down the fort, if you just need some solid points, I like Taysom Hill if he plays. Fields as well. So I like Hill and Fields. Lance, if you need the big play, forget Tua. All right, there you go. Trojan 3659. TyRant, please rank the following running backs for starting lineup. From 1 to. All right, Eckler's on top. Let's see. Did you do it right? You did. No, you didn't. Yeah, wait. No, I like Rojo a little higher up. I like Rojo and Penny. Mitchell is not going to play. Let's just put him out of there. All right. Swift, if he plays, yeah, I'm keeping him up there. Eckler's number 1, obviously, if he plays. And then after that, it's so really I'm just at this point I'm ranking the last 3. Minus Swift, Eckler, or minus Mitchell, Eckler and Swift are still up there as long as they play. Java, Penny, Rojo. Let's see. I like Rojo number 1. I like Give me Penny number 2, then Java. Barely though. You could start any of those guys and be fine. I think that Java's going to get you about 12 to 15 points. I think Penny's going to get you 15 to 17. I think Rojo could get you closer to 20, maybe not quite. So really, you're looking at that range of say 12 to 18 points with any of these guys. So go with your gut, but that's how I like it. There you go. Holy shit, there's a lot of questions here. All right, let's get through this. Depending on healthy status, yeah, that's what I mean. Mr. Ibarra, Daddy-O, Waddle, Thielen, Pittman. I'm not sure about how Thielen's going to do. Pittman, pick 2. Give me Waddle and Pittman. Give me Waddle and Pittman. Uncle Buck, pick 2. Start Zeke, Chubb, Gibson, Monty, Rojo, Zeke, and Chubb. Good day to you, sir. And Jacobs. You only start 2 of those guys? How'd you get all these great running backs? Good job, man. But I'm starting the studs. I'm starting them. I'm sorry. I can't. You got it right there. It's against Arizona. I'm not really whatever. I don't think I'm gonna sit Zeke Elliott. Although let me look at some other things there, because I mean, that's fair enough. Antonio Gibson does have a good matchup against Philadelphia. I can see why you'd want to go that route. Let me go back on that for a second. You definitely start Nick Chubb, 100%. I'm not even balking at that. Obviously, good matchup, good player. You never sit him. So the question really for me is between Gibson and Zeke. I like Montgomery in general. I like Montgomery, but I feel like against the Giants, oh God, it's a good matchup for him. You got a lot of really good talent right there. Rojo's got a good matchup. Monty's got a good matchup, dude. You're fucking swimming in it. I see why you're thinking about sitting Zeke. Now, here's the thing: you're starting Chubb. So the real question for me is between those other 4, and you really could go, with any of them. But you know what? Honestly, with those guys you got there, yeah, I see why you want to sit Zeke. It's hard to do. It is hard to do. But matchup wise and everything, for me, at this point, then it's going to be between Gibson and Monty. So you're looking at Chubb, of course. Now we're thinking between Gibson and David Montgomery. Now, David Montgomery is going up against the Giants. And, obviously both of these are good matchups. If you look at the numbers. Both of them are facing bottom 10 defenses against running backs. Both of them are playing really well lately. So, who's been hotter though? And that's at that point, that's who I got to go with. Who's been hotter? Who has the better chance to give you the bigger game? Who has the least chance of giving you the shit game? And right now, with Fields back, it looks like Montgomery. So I'm going to give the slight edge to Montgomery there. Am I starting Montgomery over Ezekiel Elliott? Is that insane? No, it's just not insane. Arizona Cardinals are giving up the 9th fewest fantasy points to running backs this season. He's had bad games against New Orleans, against Washington. Recently. It's tough. God damn, that's a real tough one. I understand the head scratch. So let me do this. I'm going to say you're starting Chubb. Gibson, Montgomery, Zeke. I'm going to go in this order. Give me Montgomery, Zeke, Gibson, Rojo. There you go. And they're all going to get you 15 plus fantasy points. So go with what you want. Jacobs, I'm not worried about. But give me whichever that you feel personally. Start as many of them as you can. If you got a flex, start one of them at flex for sure. So anyway, that's the best I can get. I'm sorry, that's a really tough question. You stumped me on that one, but that's what I'm going to give you. I'm going to go Monty, Zeke, Gibson, Rojo in that order. Chubb, of course, number 1. Jacobs at the end. Those are your bookends. Derek, thank you for your question. Is it just me or does the music sound like farts? Does it? Is it just like fucking farts going on? I can move. I can change it. Let's do some funky jazz. Does that sound like farts? By Dr. Saxlove. Yeah. Here we go. This song's called Angel Biscuit. That's right. Yeah. Hopefully that doesn't sound like farts. Anyway. I currently got MVS, but he's on the COVID list. I picked up Lazard as a backup. Should I go with Lazard if MVS is still out, or go with Devontae Smith? Yuck. Yeah, that is a yuck. Go with Smith. Go with Smith. I just can't trust anyone outside of Adams for the Packers. I can't. Taysom Hill or Trey Lance. If you need the high upside, go Trey Lance. But if you just need to hold down the fort, go Taysom Hill. If so, would you play them over Burrows or Rodgers? No, I would not. Start Burrows and Wilson. Howard, if he's good to go at Burkhead, Howard. 3 Bengals. No, that sucks too. Yeah, 3 Bengals. Yeah, I don't know what to call them. Oh, it's Mikey. Hey, Mikey. I need to stream a QB, bro. All right. So what? Okay, now we're getting up to Gibson, Martina. Hold on. What? I thought you said. Now I'm confused because now you're saying you needed to start a QB. Let me turn that down for a second. You said you needed to start a QB. Lansfield, you got to stream one, huh? Yeah, I like Hill as the lower, the higher floor, and I like Lance as the ceiling play. Fields is in between. There you go. Sorry, I wish I could give you something better than that. It's honestly, that's what I would do. It's just because I'm not Nostradamus. I can't tell you what's going to happen, but I would tell you what I would do. If I felt like I have this game, I got it's all good. Go with Hill. If I feel like shit, I need a big play. I need to win this game. In order to win this game, I'm going to need a fucking all the luck I can get. Dude, go with Lance. So there you go. You've also got another question here about some other people, some running backs, looks like. Gibson, Montgomery, Kamara, Jackson, Madison. Gaskin, no. Penny, no. Give me Kamara, especially if Hill plays. Because of which I wouldn't have said before, because he had problems last year. But I like Kamara. I like Jackson. Hold on. I like Jackson if Eckler's out. If Eckler's in, fuck Jackson. You're starting Gibson, Montgomery, Kamara, Madison. Again, that's of course if Cook is out. So if Cook plays, you sit in Madison. If Eckler plays, you sit in Jackson. Gaskin, I'm not starting at all. Okay, so fuck those 3. Go Gibson, Montgomery, Kamara, and Penny. Okay, if Madison is starting, sub out Penny, put in Madison. There you go. Bro, happy 420. First of all, yeah, fire in the hole. Thanks for the input. We'll talk this weekend. Hashtag TyRant Gang. Hey, Matt, we'll see you around. I don't got the fire in the hole in this one, but of course, so I will have it on the Tinker Stinker Power Hour like I always do. So we'll see you there, sir. And don't forget, Saturday morning, that's the next show that's coming out. Well, I might be doing the news tomorrow. I think I'm doing the news tomorrow. But the next big show of mine coming out is going to be the Benches and Bumps for the full week, full slate. No Thursday games, no Saturday games. It's all Sunday and Monday. So I'll have that out Saturday morning. Okay, there we go. Muth or RSJ, only guys on waivers are Van Swaim, Tagara, blah, 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 blah. Don't care. Muth or RSJ is the question. And the answer to that, I have to look at something actually real quick on that because part of me says I want to start Fryermuth. But, he didn't start last game. I think that he's going to be all right. I think he'll come back. I don't know what is wrong with him. What is his deal? Oh, concussion thing. I think he'll be back. I think it went back. And against Cleveland, it's not a great matchup. And it's all right. It's all right. But it's not the world's best matchup. We'll say that. RSJ. I mean, since Thomas has been out, he's been all right. Let me look at something. So Philadelphia is a good matchup. Philadelphia's actually given up the most fantasy points to tight ends, but last week he only had one target, and he got -4 yards on it. Man, yeah, it's not great. Not great. Bates saw more targets than he does. Yeah, I cannot trust that for the playoffs. I like Ricky Seals-Jones. Can't trust him with that for the playoffs. I got to go move. Of all those guys, I'm going move for sure. All right, start Higgins over Deontay. Wow. I'm not starting Chiggins. I'm sorry, Chase and Higgins. Chiggins. There we go, Bryce. There's a new one for you. Higgins over Chase. Oh, man, I don't know if I'm doing that. I don't think I'm doing Higgins over Chase. I'd try to play both of them, honestly. In that case, yeah, you're starting them over Deontay's drops him. So Mr. Drops a lot. No, he's been all right lately. He's been all right. He's solid. You know, against Cleveland, though, I don't know. It's not the greatest matchup. It is. So then you got who else? What were we saying? Higgins. Yeah. Dude, Higgins has been on fire. I can't get away from him. So Higgins, man. I mean, I'm thinking T. Higgins. Yeah. Kansas City. They're gonna have to score. Yeah, give me some T. Higgins this week. Liking it. Yeah, Bryce. Glad to see that you're still playing. Means you're hopefully in a championship game and gonna kick your teachers' asses. So there you go. Harris or Javonte Williams. Oh, give me Damian Harris. The guy's been playing well. Thanks, buddy, says Richard Ibarra. Good luck to you all. Yeah, good luck to everybody. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Derek Buck. Hey, we'll see you around. Hey, everyone. So that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for coming in and visiting with me. This went a little longer than I thought it would. A lot of questions, a lot of people coming on. We need help this week, right? Yeah, it's championship week. It's time to fucking own it. Hey, I'll tell you what. Another big thing. I'm actually extending the contest for the DeAndre Swift jersey. Signed DeAndre Swift jersey. That's right. You want to win it? You want to enter? Give me some donations. You got information there in the comments below. Or in the description below on YouTube anyway. So if you want more information on how to enter, hit me up. Okay, for each donation, for each dollar that you donate, you get an entry to win the DeAndre Swift jersey. Half of all the donations through the end of the year, so the next few days, half of all donations for the month of December, basically actually from Thanksgiving on, are going to Dornbecker Children's Hospitals. So donate if you can. Get entries to win that Swift jersey. I'm extending that until the end of the year. I'm going to be drawing names out. I think on the 2nd. Whatever the Tinker Stinker Power Hour is, I think it's going to be on the 2nd. So there you go. All right. Good luck, everyone, this week. Good luck on your waivers. And I will see you Saturday morning for benches and bumps. And then again, Sunday morning for that Tinker Stinker Power Hour. All right. Until then, I'm out. Peace.